Hey everyone, Queer V here with something a little bit different today. This is a coloring video. To preface this, I did not do the line art. This is not mine. I do not own it. This belongs to Kaatydid Art. If you guys don't know her, she's a really awesome art YouTuber. She's one of my all-time favorites. I love her a lot, and I support her on Patreon. And so one thing that she does on Patreon is have a coloring contest every month where if whoever wins like a piece of art. And yeah, so I think it's really awesome, and I decided to just do it on video because why not? You know, as long as I'm telling you guys this is not my line work. I did not do this. It is not my idea. She has this theme for her Patreon, like carnival and stuff, so that's why there's this Ringmaster art for the coloring contest. And yeah, so I decided to use my alcohol markers. I used the Blick Illustrator markers. They were like really cheap. I got 24 for like $15, and I really like them. They're like my favorite cheap alcohol markers I've ever tried. I've never tried Copics, so I don't know how. I'm sure those are better. I'm sure they're better. One day I'll use them myself, but for now these work really well. They have really vibrant colors. And I did choose, like, I wanted to choose, like, I don't know, really bright colors, and a lot of like the highlights and shadows are like completely different colors, and I know they're not like blended the best because of that, but I really wanted it to be bright. Like, so I do have this darker yellow color that I could have put in between the orange and the yellow, but when I did that, it made the color too dull. Like, I didn't want that like dark of a color. I wanted it to be bright. So I was like, whatever, I'll just use orange for the shadows, and it doesn't have to like blend super a lot. It'll just be bright and stuff. And I also tried shading with like the green with like a mint color, but I didn't like that because it was not bright enough. So I thought the yellow would be good. And then, you know, the green has yellow as the bright, and the yellow has the yellow as the bright. And then for the blue and the purple, I used a light blue as the highlight. So I thought that would sort of like tie the colors in together, since I was using like 4 different colors that were like kind of crazy and bright. And then I wanted to give her like rainbowy hair. So I tried to do that with the colors that I was working with, and I think I did like too much yellow and like green up top. I should have spaced it a little better, but I like how it turned out. It looks pretty, and it's a decent gradient. But yeah, I really loved coloring this piece. Thought it was super fun. It took me a long time. I don't think I've ever used these markers for so long before, but I had a great time doing it. I did want to, you know, give another shout out to Kaatydid Art for this. I think that she's really amazing, and if you haven't checked out her channel before, you totally should. She's amazing, and you know, if you can, you know, you should try and support her on Patreon because she's awesome. And I think that she has really good rewards, and she's really nice, and it's just a good little community. I think she deserves more support. She didn't ask me to say that or anything, I promise. She didn't ask me to make this video. I feel that way from my heart, and I wanted to say it and tell you guys that. Yeah, I like the colors that I picked. I tried a bunch of different ones, actually. I swatched out a few different colors in my sketchbook, and different colors to use for like shadows and highlights and stuff, and these were the ones that I decided on, and I think it makes like a really bright, fun piece. I will say that I did have to trace it. My dad did like print out a few copies for me, but when I use the alcohol markers on regular printer paper, it's not good. Like, they just didn't blend, and it's not good paper. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to draw this myself, and it actually turned out better than I thought. I just since the mixed media paper isn't as thick as watercolor paper, I was able to turn up the brightness as high as possible on my second monitor and kind of flip it a little bit and use it as a light box. So it kind of worked, but my hands are very shaky. If any of the lines are wonky that you can see, that is not Kaatys' line work skills. That is my terrible line work skills, because I did have to trace it. And really the only bad thing about that, because I think in the end I actually traced it okay. I mean, it's much more wobbly than the original, trust me. But the biggest problem was that the alcohol markers took some of the ink sometimes, and when I tested it out, like I don't see my test sheet, but I tested them out on the pens that I was using to line. I used 2 different pens to line, and when I put the alcohol marker over them, it didn't smudge at all, it didn't take the ink at all, so I thought I was safe. But then for some reason I wasn't safe, and I colored it like quite a bit after I did the line work. I didn't do it like back to back, so it had plenty of time to dry. I don't know why that happened, so some of the colors got a little bit muddy in there, but here's the finished piece, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching that. I had so much fun coloring it. I hope I win her contest. This was a super fun piece, really fun like pose that she came up with here in this little Ringmaster character. I thought she was super cute. I had a lot of fun coloring that. I decided to leave the background white, and I did originally try, this is the printer paper copy. I tried like some background, but I didn't like it. I didn't really like how it looked. This is just me scribbling when my marker when I was doing on camera, when it got all pen ink in it. But yeah, so you can see how like the printer paper, I could not like blend that at all. Although in some ways I think that the colors in the printer paper are a little brighter than on the mixed media paper, and that's probably because it got so muddy with the pen marks. Like unfortunately, like right there you can see like the pen, and in her hat it got a little muddy because of the pen and stuff like that. I'm not crazy about the gel pen that I added. I'm not good at adding highlights, but I think it at least gives it a little something. But this piece was super fun, and I hope that you guys will check out her channel if you don't watch it already. Consider supporting her. And yeah, I also hope that you guys liked that video, and if you're new to my channel, if you could, subscribe to me too, that'd be sweetness. Leave a comment. I love to talk to you guys. Thanks so much. Bye, have a good night.